Hi, I'm Steve Younis. Welcome to the Speeding Bulletin, your Superman news video recapping the events of the week October 30th to November 5th, 2015. Our top news stories this week included: a new plot description for Batman v Superman is posted online, ratings dropped by nearly 30% for the second episode of Supergirl, and Francis Manapul delivers a story about an apathetic Superman in Justice League Darkseid War Superman #1. Let's check out these stories and more in this week's Speeding Bulletin. In movie news, Collider.com sat down for a chat with Charles Roven, producer of Man of Steel and Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, to find out what the roadmap is for the DC cinematic universe and who the brain trust is behind the films.
I would say the Snyders, myself, John Berg, and Jeff Johns would be sort of that brain trust.
Odeon, the largest and best-known cinema chain in the UK, posted the following description for Batman v Superman on their website this week. It reads, "At long last, see Batman and Superman square off against each other in Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, an epic superhero showdown which will change both their lives forever. Clark Kent doesn't trust Gotham's mysterious masked vigilante, Bruce Wayne doesn't trust the alien who nearly destroyed Metropolis, and Lex Luthor, who hates Superman more than anyone, is manipulating both of them for his own twisted ends." It's unknown if this is an officially worded synopsis, probably not, but it is interesting how Odeon describes Lex Luthor's role. In TV news, CBS released the Live Plus 3 ratings for the Supergirl series premiere, giving us a better picture of just how well the pilot episode did. It added an extra 3 million viewers to its tally to those originally quoted. That's due to the fact that Live Plus 3 takes account of live viewers plus the 3 days following on DVR. Unfortunately, Supergirl took a bit of a hit in the ratings for its second episode, with close to a 30% drop in viewers. EW.com reports that without a Big Bang Theory episode lead-in, Supergirl was watched by 8.9 million viewers and had a 2.2 rating amongst adults 18 to 49, a drop of 29% in the adult demographic. Ahead of Monday's airing of the second episode of Supergirl, Laura Benanti spoke with TVLine.com about playing the roles of both Kara's birth mother Allura and her evil aunt Astra. She said, "We see that Astra has been locked away on Fort Roz for a long time. She's had a lot of time to think, to become embittered, and to get really strong." The second episode of Supergirl revealed an interesting twist to the character of Hank Henshaw, who in this version of the story is the head of the DEO. In the comic books, Hank Henshaw became the villain Cyborg Superman. Is he destined to be a villain in Supergirl as well? Executive producer Andrew Kreisberg told Entertainment Weekly, "For us, it's exciting to walk into every scene with him and not know, is he there to help you or is he possibly there to harm you?" Superman homepage reviewer T.A. Hewitt submitted his review for the second episode of Supergirl, saying, "Supergirl benefits from two things in its immediacy to being gratifying, an unabashed willingness to embrace the comic book lore that it comes from, and a lead actress that is without a doubt the best thing about the show," and he rated it a 4 out of 5. CBS released a couple of promo videos for the third episode of Season 1 of Supergirl. Titled Fight or Flight, this episode is scheduled to air on CBS in the USA on Monday, November 9th at 8 p.m. Supergirl's powers are tested when Reactron, one of Superman's formidable enemies, arrives in National City and targets the young hero. Also, Kat plans to run an expose on Supergirl. CBS released 11 images from the fourth episode of Season 1 of Supergirl, titled How Does She Do It? This episode is scheduled to air on Monday, November 16th. Kara's two identities are stretched thin when Supergirl must protect National City from a series of bombings, and Kara is tasked with babysitting Kat's son Carter. Also, James is conflicted when his ex-girlfriend Lucy Lane seeks to rekindle their relationship. CBS also issued an official description and images for the fifth episode of Season 1 of Supergirl, titled Livewire. In this episode, Kara's Thanksgiving may be ruined when she suspects her foster mother, Dr. Danvers, played by Helen Slater, who is coming to town, disapproves of her new role as a superhero. Also, when an accident transforms a volatile Catco employee into the villainous Livewire, she targets Cat and Supergirl. Livewire will air on Monday, November 23rd. CBS also released a new video in which costume designer Kirsten Ronning and costumer Linz Razvinsky took us behind the scenes inside the wardrobe trailer for Supergirl.
So, and then we move into the most important Supergirl costume. You see we have all sorts of them here, and They're in pieces when we see them here, the skirt and the bodysuit. It's a fun costume. The cape is beautiful. It's this red lambskin. It's built onto a corset so that it relieves some of the weight.
Best known in her role in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, actress Emma Caulfield has been cast in the role of Cameron Chase for an upcoming episode of Supergirl. The official description reads, after her father's violent murder, Cameron Chase decided to dedicate her life to law enforcement. Now a stern, no-holds-barred FBI agent, Chase's weapons of choice are manipulation and manpower. With little sympathy and plenty of suspicions, she pursues her targets with ruthless determination. While Tawny Cypress, who starred in TV shows such as Unforgettable and Heroes, will guest star on Supergirl as Miranda Crane. Senator Crane finds herself on the other side of the issue when her visit to National City is interrupted by an alien attack, forcing her to possibly accept help from an extraterrestrial Supergirl. Melissa Benoist, Calista Flockhart and Mikaad Brooks talked about Supergirl with the ladies on an episode of The Talk on CBS this week. Here's what Melissa had to say about developing her fighting skills.
Are you a better fighter now than you were when you were first cast?
I hope so. I'm such a pacifist in my personal life that it took me a little while to get used to swinging punches at people, let alone men that are 6'3" and huge like this.
While Melissa Benoist took on MTV's Puppy Challenge to see how many Supergirl trivia questions she could answer while surrounded by a room full of puppies wearing superhero costumes. Take a look.
What was the name of Supergirl's pet cat? I can't remember.
In comic book news, in this week's Justice League Darkseid War Superman comic book, writer-artist Francis Manapul delivers a story about an apathetic Superman who wants pie. Manapul told Newsarama, the inaction of Superman and his apathy is what makes him different in this issue, from who we know Superman to be, a guy that will always do the right thing. In this issue, when the alien isn't enough of a challenge, Superman is more interested in eating apple pie. In an interview with Forbes.com, Grant Morrison discusses his thoughts on Superman's origins as a character, the recent trend in Superman stories, and his thoughts on the cinematic DC universe. He said, I think you're finding the Superman that's developing now is interesting again because he seems to be quite against society in a lot of ways. There was just the one comic book for us to review this week, and that was Superman number 45, which was reviewed by Adam DeChannel, who said, I'm now at a point where I think they don't even know how this story will end, it's that bad, and he rated this book a 3 out of 5. Superman comics available this week from November 4th include Detective Comics number 46 features Superman, Justice League Darkseid War Superman number 1, and Luthor trade paperback. Whether you're using it for gift wrapping, hair bows, scrapbooking, lanyards or dog collars, you can't go past these Superman ribbons. Get 5 yards of blue Superman print ribbon for just $3.99. Or how about 5 yards of this yellow Superman chevron ribbon for $5.49. These and other great Superman and Justice League ribbons are available from your one-stop Superman shop, the Superman homepage online store at supermanhomepage.com/shop. In other news, in a new video, DC All Access talks to several of the talented women behind the DC Superhero Girls project, including Ashley Eckstein, Aria Moffley, Shia Fontana, Christine Kim, Tanya Massad and Lisa Yee, while also giving us an exclusive sneak peek at the next animated short. It appears to be a never-ending battle over the rights to Superman, with attorney Mark Toberoff appearing on behalf of Laura Siegel Larson, Jerry Siegel's daughter, in front of a panel of the Ninth Circuit judges this week, appealing the court's decision to grant ownership of the character to Warner Brothers. The Superman homepage Super Trivia Quiz has been updated for another month. The 3 questions we're asking you this time around are, what is the name of Kara's boss in the new CBS Supergirl TV series? What is the name of Lois Lane's boyfriend in the New 52 era of comic books? And what is the name of the business that Pete Ross works for in the Man of Steel movie? If you think you know the answer to all 3 questions, come by the site now to submit your entry. That's all the news there was for the week October 30th to November 5th. I'm Steve Younis from SupermanHomepage.com.
Great Scott! Great Scott! Great Scott!
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Great Scott. I'm Scotty V. It's good to see you. So, I know, this is becoming the Great Girl cast or something like that, because this is the third week in a row where I'm going to talk a little bit more about Supergirl. I can't help it. I'm excited. We're all excited, aren't we? A lot of what I'm hearing, a lot of what it seems like is the people who had problems with Man of Steel love Supergirl. And then the people who loved Man of Steel also love Supergirl, which means that both sides of the fandom seem to love Supergirl, although I do hear some people saying, it's dumb, the acting's bad, please take it off the air. And that's okay. Everybody's welcome to their own opinion. And it did drop in ratings the second week quite a bit, which is probably expected. Now we're down to, I guess, about 9 million, which is still double or triple the amount that the other show on regular network television has. Gotham gets about 3-ish. And it's still on, and they still call that a hit, or they still keep saying it's a smash, that kind of a thing. I was worried about Supergirl from the beginning because they were putting it on CBS, and the networks usually have a higher amount of ratings that they expect and that they want in order to keep a show on. But as I said before, ratings have changed these days with people watching shows at different times. So we might still have a little leeway, and it's not necessarily time to worry because it still has, as I said, double and a half or triple the amount that Gotham has, and Gotham is still on. Haven't heard anything about whether it's going to be extended or not. I think right now we're still on a 12-episode order, and the next episode coming up looks really good. I really love the last episode. I really love the first episode. People have asked me, how can you say you love it? It's 2 episodes in. And sometimes you have people, when people complain about something that they don't like that's coming up, people say, how can you say you don't like something you haven't seen it yet? So apparently you could be attacked for both things, not liking something before it's come out yet, which has always made sense to me, because if you haven't seen it, how can you say you don't like it? And now, if you have seen something and you say you like it, you have people saying, how can you like it? There's only been 2 episodes. I like what I've seen so far. Now, it could go downhill. I could begin not to like it. But right now, I like it. It's inspiring. It's uplifting. It's kind of happy. It's not overly dark. It's not overly serious, although I like all those things in a superhero movie as well. And I don't like an over-the-top, cheesy, campy thing. And we get some of that with Supergirl. But Melissa Benoist is so likable. The rest of the cast is so good that it just kind of comes together. I like the music. I like the uniform. I like everything about the show so far. I would rather they not do some of the cheesy things. The Callista Flockhart character, not grabbing me, although I don't think it's Flockhart's fault. I think that's what they wanted. And for some reason, a lot of times on superhero-y type shows, they like to have that sort of unrealistic, well, it's not a word, edge that makes them, they go, and we go, well, listen, it is unrealistic. It's about a comic book character. It's about a girl who flies around. Doesn't mean it can't still be grounded in reality, and for the most part, the Supergirl show is. But Flockhart's character is so over the top, so caustic, so rude, that people have said, I don't think a boss like that could ever rise to the top and be the leader of this media company. I don't know if that's true, because I've had a ton of bosses who don't seem to respect anybody and seem to think that the only person who deserves respect is the person that is at the top, or the person that is the boss, or themselves. But I'm enjoying the show, and I'm looking forward to what's coming up. We got Livewire coming up. We got Red Tornado coming up to look forward to. We got a number of things. The story developing. She's going to have this interview. I love the way she lifted Kat's car, and Kat was, oh, what the hell? It's very, very cool. And in this upcoming episode, if you haven't watched the trailers and you're not going to do that sort of thing because you don't want to be spoiled in any way, that's your warning. It looks like a certain Man of Steel is going to make an appearance. You're not going to really see him. It's a blur kind of a thing. But maybe Kara is in trouble, and maybe her cousin has to step in unless we're getting a dream sequence or something strange like that is happening. And I know people don't want, and we can't have the show be about Superman, but it helps a little on what I've said, and that is that it seems odd that he never steps in her life. And I think it's very much against character that he would leave her with the Danvers when she was the scared, frightened little girl with nobody, and he's his only living, actual, biological family. Seems out of character for Superman. Same thing happens in the comic books, and I say it. It seems like he would check in on her more. Seems like he would help her more. Seems like he would teach her more and talk to her more. And there's a few things that are a little for the most part, they've respected Superman in this show. They don't say his name, which is, I guess, a rights thing. They just call him your man in blue, the big guy, your cousin, him, that guy, that other hero, Metropolis's guy. But is that in the last episode, Kara said, I don't want to be a hero like him. He goes it alone. I want friends around me. Which is kind of a slight. And from her point of view, it seems like a very negative thing to say. And also, what about Batman? What about the Justice League? What about other people he has worked with? Are we to assume then that they don't exist in this universe? But my point is, Superman doesn't necessarily always work alone. I mean, he's a lone hero in general, but he has had partners. He has worked with other people. He has done things in groups. So just be careful with that. And something else that I have seen in almost every interpretation of Superman is when the Kryptonian bad guy strolls over the human that's been hurt and says, "Ah, yes, humans are so weak, so frail." You mean like Kryptonians? Because Kryptonians, at least these days and for the last 50 years, only get their powers when they come to Earth. And when they're not on Earth, when they're on Krypton, they're pretty humanish. They bleed, they don't fly around, and they're not super strong. So for the guy, or girl in this case, it was Astra, to say that, it's kind of, and people said I kind of chalk it up to bad guy arrogance, that sort of thing, but they're still not, they shouldn't suddenly turn into idiots or forget the fact that 5 minutes ago, before they got here, they didn't have any powers either, and they were the same way. So that's kind of a dumb thing that they do. I think writers think that it sounds cool when bad guys say things like that, which would be fine if it was the guy from the first episode, or if it was the Helgramite who weren't and had superpowers already, and were stronger than humans and stronger than Kryptonians in general. Thanks everybody for watching, and remember, always look up in the sky.